Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a Recon, the role-playing game story. I'm titling it FNG Intro. If you're not a veteran, you might not know what FNG means. FNG is an acronym for, it's a saying, effing new guy. Sometimes in Vietnam they were also called cherries or whatever, but the point being, they're new guys. Well, years ago I was starting a Recon campaign, and I had 6 players. This campaign ended up running for a long time. We had a lot of fun with it, something like 8 or 9 months I think it was, and we had a lot of fun with it. But whenever you start a campaign like that, and I've done videos on this for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master's Advice, whenever you started a campaign, you got to get each person into their into the adventure, but you have to run them all individually. Back in the day, it was, well, y'all meet in a tavern and decide to adventure together. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. Players want more than that, and so you have to create these little mini adventures for each person, so that they have a backstory. Might be a bit of a strong word, but they have a story to get there, basically. And I was going to have them, each one of these characters, start from the moment they landed in country. They had all been to basic training, they all went to their survival jungle warfare training and blah 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 blah, escape and evasion and all that. So they just arrived in country. They all rolled up basic characters. I had each person roll a d10 for the order in which I would start them out. Matt was first, followed by Mark, Mary, and Bill. Each of them in turn arrived in country and made their way to their forward fire base. Each one had a short little adventure, nothing major. It took about maybe a couple hours to do, but each person arrived at the fire base. They were all assigned to the same unit. Now, John and Chuck both rolled a 9, so they arrived together on the same day. They lucked out, right? You got a buddy. So they walked off the plane, and just like everybody else, they were greeted by a duty sergeant with a clipboard. In this particular case, he explained to them that they were to be stationed at this particular fire base, and they could hop a ride with the helicopter ferrying medical supplies. And they're like, cool, we get to ride. We ain't got to ride in a truck. We ain't got to walk. We're going to get a helicopter ride there. We're going to get flown out there. That's cool. So they found the helicopter and they climbed aboard. There was a pilot, a co-pilot, and a door gunner, and lots of crates, essentially. On the way there, they came under fire. I had intended this to be a little minor thing, and the adventure was going to be somewhere else, to get them there. But the dice, the dice are the dice. You roll what you roll. And the door gunner was killed immediately. The pilot began evasive maneuvers, and then the fateful dice were rolled. An RPG, a rocket-propelled grenade, hit the tail rotor of the helicopter. The chopper went down. The co-pilot was killed, and the pilot, a lieutenant, was badly wounded. So it was the 2 players and the badly wounded pilot. That was all that was left. John and Chuck were injured, but not badly. They could still function. So they decided to carry the lieutenant to the fire base. They had maps. They had their orders. They had maps. They salvaged an M16 and a .45 caliber pistol from the crash. The pilot had a .357 Magnum revolver. They also found a canteen and a medical kit. They really couldn't carry a whole lot because the rest of the stuff was in crates and it had been shattered and spread all over the place in the crash. They rigged up a stretcher from some of the debris to carry this guy, the pilot, and they started out. And they were actually doing pretty good. They knew to use their water purification tablets for groundwater to fill the canteen. they knew basic survival, so they were okay as far as that goes. They were able to avoid a couple of VC patrols pretty well, so things were looking okay. They camped that night in a little secluded area under some bushes, and there was a VC patrol that got near them, but it wasn't bad. Then, the next morning, they continued on the journey. They had, like I said, they had the map, but then they came upon a river. This river was not on the map. This river was deep and wide, very, very fast moving. There was no cover where they were at. To get cover, they would have had to backtrack at least an hour or two. Neither one of them wanted to do that. That might have been the smarter move, I don't know. But they didn't want to do it. And as the game master, you can't tell them what to do. You can only give options. So, over on the upriver, there was a hill with a waterfall that fed this river. They decided that the way to go would be up at the top of the hill by the waterfall. So they decided to climb the hill with this guy. As they climbed the hill with the stretcher, Chuck failed a strength check, and they dropped the lieutenant. He bounced off a rock and landed in the river, and they rushed down there, and they fished him out of the river, and he was alive. So they put him back on the stretcher. Figured they'd try again. They're climbing the hill. Chuck failed a strength check again. Miraculously, the lieutenant survived the fall. They ran down there, pulled him out of the river. They applied some more medical treatment. They did their medical rolls and everything. So they tried to climb a third time. This time, John failed his strength check. I guess the third time was a charm. The lieutenant did not survive the fall. He bounced on that rock and stayed there. It's like a thud kind of thing. He never made it into the river, but he died. So they're down there, and they didn't know what else to do. They the joke at that point was, oh my God, it would have been better to die in the crash, And of course, when they reached the fire base the very next day, they reported that they had been the only survivors of the crash. They didn't want people to know that they had killed that lieutenant by throwing him off a hill 3 times. Maybe that was for the best, I don't know. Nobody knew that they threw this guy off the hill, and as far as I know, the group never found out. But that was a running joke with those 2 guys and me for a long time. It was one of those things, whatever you do, if you're going to get wounded, go ahead and die, because these guys are not the guys to take care of you. The FNGs. Oh, my Lord. Oh, boy. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I enjoyed telling it. You folks have a good day now. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.